Well, I think for most part of it, it's just a show that everybody, like, we all just came up with. It's called No Filter Neha, and it's an audio show where we're just going to be talking to a lot of my friends from the business, and people are just going to come up and talk about a lot of stuff that you haven't heard them say before. So this was predominantly what the idea was, and the association just happened because Saavn thought it was a good idea, and me and my team thought that it would be fun to do it as an audio medium because it's just a far more relaxing place to do an interview, and then that's it. That's how it came about. It's as simple as that. Is the Neha that you see usually when the camera is turned off. Now, I think the best part about this show is that people will know that I am no filter, and I'll be able to say and do a lot more things, and people are just going to laugh it off. And there's all of us, not just me. I think the show is more no filter. So whoever comes on, so if there's Sonam or Kareena or Karan or Ranbir, whoever comes on, it becomes no filter Ranbir or no filter Sonam or no filter Kareena. It's just that everybody loves to say, there are sounds in everyone's head, and you're like, bahar se kuch aur, andar se kuch aur. We're tapping into the andar se kuch aur, and that's what makes them fun because they're just normal people. And I'm just, in the first season of No Filter Neha, I'm speaking to everyone from like sportsmen, like cricketers like Yuvraj Singh or Chetan Bhagat, and when we talk to them, we make sure that we don't talk to them about things that they've already said. जो नहीं कहा, जो अनसुनी है, we want that to come out, but not in a very serious context, but just a fun context. Saavn, as a player in audio, has managed to keep almost 20 million listeners engaged with their music, and I would imagine that if I come up with a little bit of wit from my side and a lot of wit, humor, intelligence, and just being themselves as the guests and the celebrities come on the show, I think we should, and the conversation would keep our listeners engaged. It is definitely a newer format, especially in our country, although podcasts are very famous internationally, but an audio show is really, it's a market that's opening up, but it's not opened up 100%, and we're hoping that we can bring about that change, because everybody nowadays, they're on their phones, they're listening to stuff, people go for morning walks. You can't, how much can you listen to music and different tracks? But here you have, everybody's a fan of someone, and you'd want to like hear them talk and say things that they haven't said before, or just laugh with them, and that's what this show is going to do. Well, I think that's what we're doing on the show. Like you said, that there are radio shows that happen that interview celebs. Now, literally every word we're making different. Firstly, this is not a radio show. It's an audio show on an app that interviews celebs. Ours is not an interview. We're in conversation. So it's very, very different. And then for me, they're not really celebs. They're friends of mine who happen to be really famous people, and we're in conversation with them. So literally, we're just changing everything, and we're giving you a new and better and improved version of that. And the best part is, because we've recorded a few, we still have a few more yet to record. The way the show is formatted is just a lot of fun, and it's a battle of wits, and that's what makes it even more interesting. No, I'm not nervous, but our first show is recorded, and Karan Johar is the first person on No Filter Neha, and I promise you, like, I'm very good friends with him, and I wasn't nervous about interviewing anyone except Karan Johar, because he's such a good talker. He does this, he has a show of his own, and I knew that if I have a slight slip, he would catch on. The only one I did tell him later on that who I was nervous really about was Karan Johar's interview. But I've got a great team that backs me. I've got a great writer. Everybody just gets me together, like literally, and I'm also coming on board as a producer for the first time. So it's amazing how, when I've got I'm wearing so many different hats when it comes to, literally so many different hats, but when it comes to being the face of the show and a producer, I've got my team and they also double up as more than one thing. And it's so relaxing to work with all of them. It's fantastic. The fun prep, or the fun part of the prep, of course, apart from the long calls and stuff, was speaking to friends of theirs who we were getting information from. So, because when we're talking to Karan, we weren't talking about cinema. We were talking about the Karan Johar that people don't know. Or when we're talking to, Yuvraj, we're not talking about cricket. Or when we're talking to Sonam, we're not talking about fashion. It's about her take on Harshvardhan's girlfriends, things like that. So we had to go into doing a lot of research with friends and family and people who are lesser known but better known to them. And that was one of the most exciting parts, and the usual, the drama that goes on. And there were times when I would sit and chat, and then the research team and our writer on the show would be like, this is what you should say. And then sometimes it would be really wicked. And I'm like, no, I can't say this to them. They're coming on the show. They'll be like, try your luck. Worst case, they'll say no. But the best part about all these celebs, whether it was Kangana, whoever else, and the ones who are yet to come, they've been so sporting. They have said things that even I wouldn't imagine that I could get out of them. But they've said things that have shocked me, entertained me, literally taken me by surprise. So they've been fantastic, and that's been the most fun part of doing the show. No, I mean, there've been no inhibitions. I think that's the best part about an audio show, that you can keep as much as you want, and at the same time you can edit as much as you want. So there've been no inhibitions whatsoever. I mean, a few before, like I said, the research and the writing team is always saying, shouldn't we? But we've got a great team, and it's just that they're the ones who actually make the show, and they push me into asking the celebs different questions. But everyone who's come on the show, all my friends, all my famous friends who've come on the show, have been so sporting. When you hear the show, know, No Filter Neha on Saavn could probably be something that would interest a whole lot of audience that is, not into audio shows. This could be a point, if people latch on to this show, is the fact that, more and more people will get converted into newer fans or listeners of audio shows. In India, there's obviously Karan Johar, who's fantastic. Internationally, there's Howard Stern, who has a similar pattern, but mine's not the same, but it's an audio show that's great. I love Ellen, and I actually am a very big fan of Jimmy Kimmel, because what I like about him is that he literally talks about everything to the celeb except what the celeb is on the show for, because actually fans, that whatever you need to know about a certain person you follow, is all the information is available on Wikipedia or Google, but he goes out of his way to talk about their kids, or what the celeb did the previous night, or just what their plans are over the weekend. These are things that are not available, and so that getting that little information is just how they would react around animals, or just literally get animals on the set. He makes it a lot more fun and entertaining. Well, as far as the production house is concerned, the first thing that Big Girl Productions, that's my production house, is doing is No Filter Neha with Saavn. But we're looking at doing a lot more interesting work. We're in a stage where we're very aware that the only thing that sells in this day and age is good content. So I'd like to keep it in the space that we're creating content which we think is good, and that'll sell. But whether that content turns out to be movies or a web series or an audio show or just, you know, something on television. I don't know what the next steps are. We're taking each day as it comes. No big plans, just big dreams at Big Girl, and we're going to make sure that it comes through. It's a very loaded question. I'm sure at some point, you know, the thing about a movie like Pink is that I even said that it's a film that makes you weak when you're watching it and leaves you much stronger when you get out of the theaters. But it's got a very strong message. Women have definitely been through that situation. I have no situations very differently in my head, but you know, there are standards that you have in your own head, and you know, sometimes you're just saying no and having a conversation with yourself. But I've seen the film. In reference to the film, I've not been in that situation. I know a lot of women have, and I'm glad that films like this are made so that, you know, the message is widely spread. Oh yeah, I think we've been past that. I'm older than that stage also. Like they started asking me this question when I was 25 and 26 when I'm getting married. When I'm like in my 30s now, it's almost like people have assumed that I'm not going to. But I promise you, at some point, when the intention is that when you find someone who's worth taking that step or that leap for, I will. I'm paranoid about sharing my bathroom and bedroom with people. So not people, it's not a plural thing, or with one person. So if I find someone who's worth it, I promise you I will.